was being robbed, and my husband just ran. The robber himself was stunned. Just as the thief was about to leave, I called out to him. Then I held out my phone. He took it hesitantly, asking me what I was doing. I told him, if the person who loves me most doesn't care if I'm safe, then all this material stuff is meaningless to me. I gave him all the money I had on me and started to walk away. But he stopped me. He told me with a serious look, this isn't over yet. When my husband ran back to his office, he saw a picture of me tied up. What scared him even more was that the robber was right there in the room. He was terrified and tried to run again, but the door was already locked. He saw arrows on the floor. Even though he was filled with fear, he had no choice but to follow them. When he reached the location, he saw me tied to a chair. He rushed over, frantically asking where the robber went. But the robber appeared silently behind him and knocked him out. When he woke up, he was a prisoner too. The robber forced him to give up the company safe's password, or he'd kill us both. But he kept insisting he didn't know it. Seeing that he wouldn't cooperate, the robber turned his attention to me. But my husband didn't seem to care if I lived or died. The robber seemed prepared for this and pulled a hood over my husband's head. Even at that point, a small part of me hoped that my husband wouldn't betray me so easily. I fixed my makeup and sat back down, making myself look like I'd been hit. The moment he saw my face, he panicked. He realized he was probably next. Terrified, he finally broke. He didn't just give up the password. He even added that, besides cash, the safe had secret files that could be sold for a lot of money. He thought selling out his own brother would save his life, but the robber pulled out a gun. He was so scared he could barely speak, and quickly gave up his brother's mansion address and alarm codes too, promising he'd never say a word about what happened. The robber even put the gun into his hand. I still held out hope he wouldn't actually shoot, but in the end, he pulled the trigger. Just then, my husband's best friend walked out. It turns out, we had planned the whole thing together. We finally saw him for who he really was.